a really rainy summer's day here today. It feels very quiet. Hong Kong, but stuck in the UK.
And this is being live streamed, so Facebook group people or whoever, this is being live streamed. But if you want, we very much welcome you to be in the Zoom room. So feel free to join. I'll pop a link down there in the chat and the live streams as well, so you can join us here. Much nicer to have you here in person for this.
Since come on in. So yeah, let's see where people are from. Budapest, Ljubljana, Israel, got beautiful weather, good. Austria, Germany, Stockholm, Sweden, Germany, Bavaria, UK, Palestine, Los Angeles.
Oh, Los Angeles, it's 1 a.m.
Yeah, Los Angeles, my goodness.
Commitment.
Mauritius, South Africa, Manchester, Belgium, Toronto, Canada, that must be early in the morning as well. It's raining in the southeast of England too. Yeah, it's very wet here today. Turkey, my goodness. Hi, welcome everyone.
We're on time, so perhaps I'll press the record button and get introduced and that sort of stuff. So there we go. So welcome everyone to this session. So in case you didn't know or didn't read it, this is a session on how to market authentically with Erika. So I'll introduce Erika in a sec, but a few little things before that. So this is for anyone who wants to be coached on this topic, or for coaches who want to see demonstrations of how this can be used, or it's also for people who would like to kind of not be the one being demoed, but kind of go along with stuff and have their own inquiries, self-inquiries as this is going on. So that's going to be what this whole event is about. So you can obviously join in and be coached if you're not actually doing a demo, or you can volunteer for that. So I'm the tech host here, I'm Steve. So if you do have any tech stuff, do private message me rather than type it in the chat. And we'd also love everyone, if they could, to have their cameras on. One, that provides feedback for Erika, and two, it's also like a safety thing. So if something's going on, you can sort of scroll through the screen and make sure everyone looks okay. But it is okay if it's not suitable where you are or whatever, so you can have it off. The session each session we're running for just under an hour, so around 50 minutes, give or take. So then there's a little bit of a break between each session. So each session is reasonably different. So, but we still know, even though they're different, some people want to attend all of them. So we're doing a little break between. It's not actually an hour long. Anything else? Yeah, we've got volunteers. So we'll be asking people to volunteer raising virtual hands. It's too difficult to scroll through and see real hands. So virtual hands, if that's possible. If you can't, you can private message me if there's not a long line of people as well that you'd like to volunteer. And do feel free to share this with people. We can share the Zoom link directly, any friends that may benefit. And also, if Zoom does reach capacity, we're not expecting it to, but if it does, there's a couple links there in the chat to our Facebook group and YouTube channel, so you can go there if you want to be able to watch and you can't get in the room. And yeah, so each session that if any demonstrations done today will be sort of like short demonstrations. So we don't want like people choosing like a 11 out of 10 in difficulty. We're sort of aiming for like a 4 out of 10 on 1 to 10 scale. So nothing kind of over the top or traumatic or anything like that. So that means that coaching demonstrations will be sort of shortish. They're not going to be like an hour long. They're going to be like around 10 minutes. Then there'll be some like breakdown afterwards as well, where we sort of look at maybe what things Erika does or whoever else is coaching. Anything else to be aware of? It's recorded. So if you do volunteer, be mindful that it's recorded and it's live streamed and stuff, so people will see you. Another reason not to choose something too traumatic or something, because I'm sure people don't really want that out publicly. I think that's pretty much all the boring stuff. So now to the cool stuff, which is Erika. So in case anyone doesn't know Erika, she's an embodiment educator, a somatic coach, and meditation teacher. She's dedicated to helping women break free of niceness, step into their authority, and live according to their own rules. Erika also happens to be a pretty awesome human. So it's just like a pleasure to be hosting her here, and you'll get a whole heap out of what she's doing. So Erika, over to you.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah. Oh, I just went really big on the screen. Give me a moment. Let's bring you all back. Okay, yeah, thank you, Steve. And yeah, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming. I was saying to the people that were here a bit early, I'm like the green tea, Mark's on at 10. So you can imagine me like the quiet before the caffeine kicks in. Yeah, so I'm going to ease us into the day. I have a very different style to Mark. I'm also really a very unlikely person to have ended up teaching marketing. I'm naturally very shy. I'm temperamentally extroverted, but I'm a sort of introverted extrovert. I also struggled a lot in my life with a lack of confidence, and definitely after I trained in embodiment, there was a period where I didn't feel good enough to teach. I felt very self-conscious putting myself out there. Marketing scared me. Yeah. And now, I run a successful business. I do put myself out there. I share my gifts. And mostly it's okay. I still do some of the embodiment exercises that I'm going to be sharing with you today. But I've kind of really taken on marketing as a practice to overcome these, embodied shapes that I've taken on, this shyness, this introvertedness, this lack of confidence, as a sort of marketing as a path to kind of work on all of those things. Yeah. And really I take it on as, how can I just be more and more myself in my business and share that authentically and trust that the right people will find me and there'll be a fit, which so far has worked well. I think I spent long enough of my life trying to be someone else so that people would like me. And I've certainly reached an age where I don't want to do that anymore. And I certainly don't want to do that in my business. I just want to be me. I want to do what I do fully, and for the right people to find me. So yeah, so that's kind of my brief introduction to my story with marketing. But I would love to hear why you've shown up today. So you've come to the first one, 9 o'clock, which is marketing. Yeah, let's have in the chat some of your own struggles with marketing. When I say the word marketing, what happens for you? And you could just drop that in the chat. It's so scary. Imposter syndrome, contraction, insecurity. Oh no. Judgments. Fear I don't have the skills. I freak out and get my head all over things I think I should be doing. No one will respond or like it. Sense of shame. Who wants to hear from me? I'm not important. I overthink. No one will like it. Hate from social media. Okay. And I can relate to a lot of those. I'm sure this is a really shared experience. Yeah. Yeah. Have to articulate my skills and the impact I can create. Try to fit the wants and needs of others. So that's interesting. Yeah. Yes, how to stay authentic and avoid the temptation to try and please different stakeholders. We'll definitely be covering that in this session. Great. Yeah. Great. Thank you, everyone. So I forgot to, first of all, arrive in our bodies. So we've shared our fears. Now let's just have a little move. So have a little move, a little stretch. Remember that we have a body. Do what you need to do. Some of you are tuning in, it's 1 a.m. Crazy. Some of you it's early morning. So feeling your feet on the floor. Bum on a chair. And let's start with a little bit of centering. So if I just say the word marketing, notice what happens in your body. You could say it to yourself, marketing. Notice what happens in your body. What happens to your breath? What happens to any tension in your body? Marketing. Where does your attention go? And maybe just popping that into the chat. Anything you notice when you bring up the word marketing in your body. Contracted, constriction in the chest, sinking feeling in my chest, feeling sick, tightness, mild anxiety, straight away stomach tightens, shoulder pain. Great, and let's try that again. And this time, let's find some support in the body. So feeling your feet against the ground and your bum on the chair. And really allowing your body to have a little bit of support. Is there anywhere that would like to let go a little bit more into the gravity of the earth? And from there, bringing your awareness up to the heart area, connecting with what you do, what you love about it. And remembering that the heart has a back to it. And you could imagine your hand or the hand of someone who really supports you behind your heart. Leaning into that sense of support behind the heart there. And taking a soft peripheral vision, wide, open, gentle. And again, dropping the word marketing in here. Feeling that sense of support behind the heart, marketing. And seeing if anything shifts or anything's different this time round. How is that? With a little bit of support from the body. Did anything change? Big thumbs up there from Angela. Anything change for you? Doesn't feel so hard, feels steadier. More relaxed. Feels powerful. I find it more amusing. Great. Oh God, we take things so seriously. I take things so seriously. Same constriction in the chest, but a sense of relaxed pulse. Calm energy flowing from the feet to the feet. I could feel the same tension, but it dissipated more easily. Fantastic. So, and we could try one more thing. These are my quick wins. Let's do one more quick win, which is a Paul Linden technique. So Paul Linden's an embodiment teacher who has Parkinson's. When he got diagnosed with Parkinson's, obviously there's a lot of fear associated with that disability. And he taught himself not to fear the word Parkinson's or Parkinson's by saying Parkinson's in a really positive way. So let's all just try that. Marketing, marketing. Let's take it a little bit less seriously. Marketing, it's just marketing. Like, oh, come on, marketing. Just marketing, yes, marketing, we can do this. What is it? What is marketing? Telling people who you are, marketing. You could all market each other perfectly well. If I was to say, okay, so someone come up and sell me, you'd be able to do it fine. So marketing. And just noticing if that shifts anything in your embodiment. So there we go. Even already, with a little bit of support from the body, we can begin to shift. We can begin to shift these contractions. Okay, great. Okay, so anyone got something around? I think one of the big fears that came up there, and definitely one I see a lot, is worrying what other people will think, sort of worrying about how it's going to be received out there in the world. We put ourselves out there. What if people don't like us? There was someone said, hate from social media. There are going to be people criticizing, people that don't like us, people that think, who is she to be putting herself out there? Who's got a fear around what other people think of them putting themselves out there? Just wave, give us a wave, or Yeah, wave your real hand. That's great. Yeah. So yeah. And would anyone like to come up and do a one-on-one around this, around kind of worrying what other people will think, what will people say? Anyone feeling brave at this early hour in the morning?
Yes, we've got Anastasia here with her hand raised.
Great.
Hiya.
Hey, Anastasia. I can't
Can
see
you hear
Anastasia.
me?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Okay, sorry, one second. I've put my video on. It's early morning, so I've just woken up, but okay, I'll put my video on.
Hi, Anastasia. I'm just going to lower your hand.
Hey, I have really sleepy face.
Great. So, first of all, well done for being brave and stepping in. It's not easy. A lot of that ascension we just did was for my benefit as much as all of yours. So it's not easy to step up. So let's do a piece around worrying about what other people think. Do you want to give me a little synopsis or a little description of your experience of that?
Yeah. So I think my biggest worry comes across from perfectionism, I think. So it's not so much necessarily that I worry about every aspect of what I say online, but there's definitely an aspect of me that compares myself to those coaches who are already making a lot more money than me and who are really good at copywriting and who also seem to have that unlimited social media energy. I don't really like making social media posts when it comes to marketing or writing things. I think full stop, like I'm not really a massive fan of writing things. And I definitely find that when I do write, I have a resistance of like, oh, is this even good enough? Is it even worth saying something if it's not like perfect or as good as all these other beautifully curated, copies of other people or like emails or I think that's like the big thing. And I think often authentically speaking, I think it's like there's so much I have to say and there's so much I know and I have to share. But for some reason, when it comes to creating marketing posts, I just don't know how to communicate this. And it kind of becomes all stuck in my head. So I never really move forward that much with marketing. I think myself through social media or for email or any other means which involve any kind of writing.
Okay. So there's this sense of comparing yourself to other coaches. I heard that. There's a sort of, I put myself out there, but then there's all these amazing coaches already doing stuff. And is there a sense of like, what do I have to contribute here? Does that come up?
No, not so much even that. It's more like I'm not a good writer. I think that's probably more so than anything else. Like I think I have so much to share and so much to say, and I really value my contribution, but I just don't know how to express myself through writing. And therefore I really compare myself to other people who write really well.
Okay. We could do, because writing's not the only way of getting something out, right? We could think about some other ways that you could get some stuff out. Let's have a think. So you feel like you've got lots to say. You're quite confident about what you've got to offer and what you've got to put out there. But then it comes to writing, and
stuck, froze. Yeah,
it's stuck. Okay. So first of all, let's feel that in the body. Let's just start there. Because I had an idea of where this might go, and it's gone completely the other direction. So let's start with where we're at. So come into your felt sense, and can you feel that moment where you feel like I've got something to say here? There's something I want to communicate. So think of a recent example, maybe where you wanted to go and write on Facebook, where you wanted to go and do something, and then this thing happened, where you feel like, oh, something stops you. Can you feel into that? Have you got an example in your mind of a recent time when that might have happened?
Yeah, so recently I really wanted to shift my direction of what I'm doing with my clients and shift it into direction of more like embodied femininity and bring that into my business coaching. And I really want to communicate this idea of coming into flow with yourself and not coming from like masculine, kind of constantly doing perspective and pushing in business, And I just wanted to express it so much and, go back into my group and restart my group, which I've abandoned because it requires writing. At least that's what I think. And when it comes to it, I'll think about it and I'm like, oh, how am I going to communicate and break it down so it makes sense? It's not overwhelming.
Yep. Okay, so let's come back to the body. So feel that, I've got this, feel the impulse. Like, I've got this, I want to take it in this flow of feminine energy and I want to communicate this. Can you feel the impulse, the desire to communicate?
Yeah.
In the body? Which direction? So what do you do in your body when you've got this desire? Which direction does that want to move in?
I want to move up into that in my sacral center, almost like towards solar plexus, and it rises like kind of this excitement, and then it gets stopped at solar plexus before it reaches my lungs as like anxiety.
Okay, so we've got this rising, it rises up, and does it want to come forward and out?
It wants to come up. I feel like into my throat and into my heart and into my throat to get out of my head. Yeah, but it feels like it's not moving.
And then there's this other force which feels like it stops it. Yeah. So
like trying to push it down.
So it pushes it down. So you've got this something that wants to rise up and come up into the throat and out, and then there's this something else that sort of is pushing down.
Yeah.
And for a moment, before we do anything else, give yourself permission just to feel both of those forces in the body. Like, there's this desire to express, and there's this desire to maybe protect or push down. And just seeing if you can hold both of those in your kindly awareness. Very human. And noticing if just being with them both has any sort of effect.
I start to feel my heart more constrictional, so I'm starting to become aware in my heart center.
So coming up to the heart, okay.
Like wanting to take a really deep breath, almost like.
Yeah, so allowing yourself to do that. So allowing yourself to do that. And noticing if any of the tension shifts or moves through that. Okay. And just for time, Anastasia, I'm going to move us on a little bit. So finding a place where it feels comfortable to come up and engage again. Noticing if some of that tension has it shifted at all, moved at all, just by being able to be with both of them?
Yeah, it's subsided by giving awareness.
Yeah, great. So I think it's very human. We have this moment where we come up and we want to express, and then there's the fear. Okay, so let's and I should have said, I didn't contract this very well at the start. Everything I'm inviting you into is an invitation. You're in charge of the session. So if I'm ever inviting you into anything that doesn't feel right for you, don't do it. Okay, it's for you to guide. Okay, so I feel like we could play with 4 elements here in terms of you're thinking, I need to get this out in terms of writing, yeah? But actually, there's a few different ways we could market and communicate, yeah? So I want to lead us very quickly through 4 elements and see if you come up with any other ideas for how you might communicate through this stage, yeah? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
So first of all, bringing your awareness low down in the body, to the feet, to the earth. And draw a square, a really perfect square with your fingers. And keep your eyes open, Anastasia, because we're communicating outwards, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So feeling your feet, feeling rooted, thinking down. Let's think and draw a square, perfect square with your fingers. And slow that down, slow it down. And let's get very specific about all the ways that you could communicate. So you could write Facebook posts. You could, what else could you do?
Do video.
You could do a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that perhaps I could do some sort of form of audio, which feels really appealing, but I feel like that involves trying to get onto someone's podcast or something like that, because I don't want to have my own.
Okay. So feeling in, yeah. And then coming up to the womb area and the hips. And if we just stand for this part. So coming up to this womb area, and let's have a little bit of, because marketing is about relationships, right? Building relationships. Yeah. So, and I imagine you're very good at that. So how can you build relationships with people?
Communicating with them.
Yeah, so video, audio.
Yeah, connecting with them on Zoom, doing like networking.
Networking, yeah. And networking doesn't have to be through written posts, right?
Yeah, it can be from video and voice.
Yeah. What else? How else could you express yourself?
I would like to do webinars, or like not even webinars, like mini masterclasses, and just bring people together and communicate with a big group of people at once.
Yeah, and if you could record them, right? And maybe you could transcribe part of it, so you don't have to sit and write. You could talk, and then
and I can get my VA to do it for me.
Yeah, you could get your VA to do it for you. Great.
Transcribe it.
And then come up to the heart area, Anastasia. Come up to the heart area and come into a slight back bend like this. So connecting to the heart, and it's as though someone's pulling your heart up. So it's kind of passionate, leaning forward. You don't have to put your hands on your back unless it's supportive, but kind of connecting with that heart. What's important to you to communicate here? What's your passion here?
My unique perspective on the neuroscience and psychology and spirituality of learning and transformation.
Okay, great. And what's urgent here? So come into a sense of urgency, and you could maybe,
what's urgent is I see a lot of people creating really half-hearted online programs which don't really get the clients or students results, and I think that's really urgent to address so people know how to deliver better quality materials.
So come here, Anastasia, and look directly at me.
Yeah.
And like what? So you need to get your message out because it's important, right? What's urgent? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so people.
And I invite you, while you're doing it, to take a sort of more assertive forward action here.
Okay. So it's urgent to create better quality programs, and I need to communicate how to best utilize psychology, neuroscience, and spirituality and integrate it so coaches can deliver better results for their students in the programs.
And if you don't do this, who's going to do it, you know? Yeah?
Yeah, so but if I don't do it, no one will do it. Well, there'll be people, but it won't spread as fast. So we need to...
I just want to notice the humor here, so the laughing. So see if you can take it a bit more seriously, because humor's a way to get out, right? You need to get on with it. Get it out there, yeah? Push through. If you don't do it, who's going to do it, yeah? You've got a unique perspective that's important. Can you say that?
I have a very unique perspective that's important to get out and share with people.
Great. And how could you do that quickly?
I can do it for delivering really short workshops and masterclasses and bring a group of people together at once and connect with them and network during the sessions.
Great. And then finally, we're really pushing the time here. Let's just come up into kind of a playfulness. So come up into air. What's the vision, Anastasia? What's the vision here?
The vision is to transform the education system, the adult education system, so we know how to shift consciousness of people quicker, effectively, and in unique ways.
And how could this be fun?
And it can be fun by introducing the story structure and the hero's journey into learning, and think of ourselves as heroes when we are going through programs.
And how could marketing be fun? How can you make marketing fun for you? How could this be playful? What would you enjoy doing?
I would enjoy playing games on the webinars and masterclasses with people, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire type quizzes, and get them to learn about the brain and psychology.
Okay, great. So, whew, that was a quick run, but what are your takeaways from that? Around, you came with this, oh, I've got to share. When I try to share my writing on social media, I get blocked. Where have we landed? Where have we ended up here?
Yeah, I feel like I definitely was not being authentic to myself. I think I knew what I wanted to do, but I was thinking I have to do it the way that it's been done by other people, which doesn't resonate with me. And I think I was really attached to that idea because I thought that's the way that, I learned through courses and marketing courses that I've done. It's like, you need to copyright. And I realized I don't have to do what I'm not that great at, and I can do what I am good at, which is being on video and connecting with people and, like creating relationships and delivering content, because that is my expertise, because I did that for years. So I feel confident doing it and excited, and I'm grateful for, thinking about how I can make it fun.
Yeah, great. And at one point you said, oh, I should get my VA to do that. Yeah. So you could also, how can you, use, lean into what you're really good at, and yes, we do need copy, yes we do. What's a way that you could do that where maybe you employ someone else, or you translate a transcript or something?
That's a great idea. I think I'm gonna do that.
Great. So how could you practice this in your how could you keep hold of this next time that you're at that point where you're feeling that contraction and those two opposing forces that we got in touch with at the start? How will you remember to remember this?
I think this resistance that I usually feel is what makes me procrastinate. So I will just sit with it for some time to allow it to just feel into it, and to, I think, bring it into acceptance first. And I think just movement was a really good idea to just shift that energy and get it flowing. So it's not just in my head, and connect with my body instead of being in my head, because it's in my head that I get stuck. When I'm in my body, I feel a lot more connected and intuitive and flowy, for sure. So I think it's just doing that every time. I like that. Feel it, dance around, move around, and then sit down with that new, fresh perspective and feel from your body, not from your mind.
Great. So you could, when you're brainstorming content ideas, you could do that with different types of movement to get in touch with kind of different communication styles and stuff. Yeah, great.
I love, and some yoga as well.
Great. Okay, thank you so much, Anastasia.
Thank you so much, Erika. I appreciate that. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Okay. So any reflections or questions that came up during that, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just sort of commenting that it was really nice there at the end. I sort of try to clear people away from commenting during it so that you guys could focus. Noticing how some stuff changed for Anastasia. In terms of what I noticed as well, like, I know obviously you brought in there the ethics and consent and everything was her choice, and your embodiment really stood out to me as well in actually leading her into it. I'm wondering if anyone else had any questions or wanted to ask why Erika did particular things, because there's a whole heap of stuff she sort of did, some subtle, some not so subtle. We can go from there. I'm also wondering, Erika, there was obviously a lot of bits you did there, but in order to like simplify things for people as well, whether there's a way that's like, for example, for me, I noticed things where you could have like just done particular postures like that clarify each element, like an entering in or something like that.
Yes.
Are there any particular postures that you would you could use to really just clarify each element rather than have to bring people into each little bit there?
Yeah, sure. So I'll just pick up on a few things that I noticed. Firstly, I made a mistake. I didn't contract at the start very well. I was a bit nervous. I was jumping in. So I contracted after the first section, but giving her full permission. So she's in charge of the session. It's up to her. Everything is an invitation. That's sort of primary. And I made a mistake there by not doing it soon enough. The second one is so first of all, we're bringing awareness. So what goes on in that moment when she's stuck? Yeah, what's the embodied sense of this? Oh, I want to put this out and I can't, and really feeling into what's going on there. And at that point, there might have been more frustration or collapse. There might have been others. So first, we're bringing awareness. Everything's built on awareness first. So that's the first thing I did. Then there's a period of acceptance. Oh, so much of the time we want to change something, or we want to push part of our experience out and abandon it because it's not okay. So the first part is, oh, can I hold all of that? It's so human, you know? Can I hold all of what's going on inside me in kindly awareness? And even with that first kind of movement of holding it, there can be a big shift. And for her, there was like this reduction in the tension. And I sort of then felt she took a big breath in. She sort of dropped a little bit, and I sort of felt a little bit more like we were on clearer ground to then go on and start to work with the piece around thinking through different options. So that was the sort of the grounding of it. And then the intention part, yeah. So the intention of, we're going to explore different ways you could put content out. Yeah. So yeah, then I took her through a process. But if you're going to do that process just through EYP postures, for example, really quick hitting postures, you could do grounding, you know. So the first posture might be support posture, which would be taking your feet hip width apart and feeling into the ground. So kind of rooting down, coming down low, feeling into, okay, what's the sort of structure of this? What's the basis of this? This is about kind of connecting with maybe structure, discipline, concrete ideas. And then maybe it would be giving pose. Perhaps you could come out into giving. What do I want to give, or how do I want to connect would be the next one. And you could keep that fluid and loose, about connection, watery. It could also be about, yes, I'm going to lead this for the group in a moment. So those are two EYP postures. And then maybe the urgency part, we could have done entering in pose. What's urgent? What do I need to communicate? What do I just need to get on with? Because if I don't, who will? Going for it, entering in, trusting it. Getting specific, cutting out the BS. And then maybe inspiration pose comes to mind. What's the big vision? What's the inspiration? And if you're taking it all a bit seriously, there's Joker pose. Yeah. So if you were looking for a very quick way through all of those, you can find all of those postures in the EYP coaching. I could have gone that way with her as well. Yeah. And then at the end, bringing it into life application. How is she going to practice this? When is she going to practice this? Oh, she's going to practice this when she's designing her social media plan. Yeah. Okay. 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 I'm going to move on and do a group one because my God, the time is flying. Okay, and I had lots of ways I thought this was going to go, and it went off in a completely different direction, which just goes to show. So let's have a vote. Worrying what other people think. The need to put oneself out there and feeling like it's invading other people. Who am I to put myself out there? Or who am I? Yeah, who am I to teach? Not feeling good enough to put ourselves out there. So let's have a quick vote. Which one do you want to do as a group? And I'll lead us through a group process. 1, 2, or 3. 1, worrying what other people think of us. Or this feeling of having to put ourselves out there. It's a lot of work, invading other people's space. Or 3, who am I to do this? And Steve, you can give me a sense of, if not, we'll just pick one.
Bloody hell. Lots of numbers.
We don't have time for a poll.
I think 3 is standing out to me.
Okay. Let's do 3. Who am I? Okay. So let's do who am I to put myself out there? Who am I to teach? Maybe this. I often work with a lot of women who are like, I just need one more qualification. I just need to do one more qualification, and then obviously we get the other qualification, and it doesn't cure the feeling of not feeling good enough, not having something to offer. Maybe there's a sense of comparing to, yes, that's me. Maybe also what Anastasia said, like, oh God, look at all the amazing people already doing this work. Who am I to come into this field? Yeah. So finding that sense for you in the body. So when you're doing, who am I to put myself out there? What do you do in your body? And think, if you can think of a specific example of when this has happened to you, where you've wanted to share something and then, oh, I'm not good enough, comes in. And bringing that to mind and finding what it is that you do in your body. Shrink, heart gets tight, shoulders go down, slumped, close my shoulders. And you don't have to share in the chat, just making sure you've got an embodied sense of what you do. Who am I? And noticing where your awareness was just prior to that thought. So was it, God, look at all these amazing teachers, who am I? Just noticing the moment before that shrinking and finding that in the body. Where was your awareness? What was the moment that led you into this? Who am I? And noticing how that presents. What do you do in your body when you're doing, who am I to put my work out there? And again, like I did with Anastasia, feeling into both those parts. So there's the longing to put your work out there, want to help people, want to make a difference, want to earn money. And there's the, but who am I to? Feeling that in the body. And can we bring a sense of kindness to that? Can we bring a sense of, gosh, just so human? And there's 200 and something people on this call, and most of them said that this was an issue for them. So it's a shared issue. And connecting with the longing and connecting with the shrinking or the response that you have. And holding them both. And you can have a sense of just holding them both in your awareness, in this humanness. This is your experience right now. Bringing kindness to all of that. And then from here, let's come into self-care. This is an EYP posture. And it's giving yourself a hug. So from this place, scooping yourself in, scooping your experience in, and giving yourself a little hug, a little squeeze. Coming away from ideas of what anyone else can do, all these other coaches, all these other people doing this work, and returning to you. And returning to your connection to your work, to what you love, and to how it's served you. You've probably gone into something which at some point has improved your own life. So connecting with that. And this is a soft tenderness to it. Connecting back to you, to your inner world. And then from here, I invite you to either to stand, or you can do this seated, so however you choose. But if you're coming into standing, and staying with this connection to the self, so back in yourself, feeling your feet on the ground, feeling this connection to your own life history, to the love of what you do, beginning to feel your weight against the ground, and beginning to elongate the spine, rising up through the crown of your head, having a sense of dignity. And you can imagine your life history stacking up here. And we're going to come into stand posture, which is very simply 2 feet hip width apart, feeling the weight go down to the earth and feeling the gravity of the stars pulling you up, elongating the spine, and the fingers reach down to the earth. And you can still be really back in yourself at this point, but feeling the weight of your history, the weight of your training adding up here, stacking up, so much more than just a qualification. It's everything that's lived through you. Could have 15, 20, 100 people teaching what you teach, and it wouldn't be the same, because you've got a life history here, and that's added up. So feeling that, and feeling, what are you a stand for? What is your work a stand for? What is your life a stand for? What's important? Connecting to that heart area. And from here, stepping forward with a wide stance, about a yoga mat width apart, really firm base, 60% of the weight on the front foot, and bring your hands to your heart, connecting with all of that, feeling your feet against the ground, your life history, and owning your expertise. So we're going to take the hands up like this, owning your expertise, owning your authority. You've got something to share here. You've got this. And noticing what that's like for you. Can you breathe into your belly? Can you feel the weight of your feet on the floor? You've got something to share here. You know something which could benefit someone else. And then from here, let's come into giving. So just moving the hands from, I've got something to share here. This is added up. Who am I not to give that out? Who am I not to offer it? What if the person who taught you hadn't taught because they didn't feel they were good enough to? What if the person that's impacted your life shrank and didn't share? And then feeling into that. And you could come back to yourself at this point and just bringing that in, noticing any aha moments, any shifts. Who are you not to teach what you've learned? Who are you not to share your gifts? Okay. And so again, noticing how that was for you, noticing if any of those particular elements were particularly difficult, challenging. Which one of those would you need to practice the most in that sequence? And where could you use this in your life? Yeah, so people having insights, Who am I not to give this out into the world? Exactly. Yes, noticing that your mother had a similar pattern. Yeah, lots of these patterns didn't begin with us. Yeah, great. Authority pose coming up is very useful. Enough of taking courses, time to share. Yes, time to share. And so much more than the courses, right? Yeah. So if anyone's got any questions about that, or about the actual process, we're trying to do two things in this. We're trying to do the coaching and then second track it for the coaches in the room. So any questions about the actual coaching, feel free to drop them in. I want to tell a story about, it's a story I heard on a radio show about, there was a big avalanche in Nepal. And there's lots of climbers lost in the snow. And when you're lost in an avalanche, you don't know which way is up. You don't know which way, whether you're walking in which direction. And often it's disorientation and you die because you can't find your way out. And in this particular occasion, this guy's telling the story. And he said, I thought I knew which way to go. And I thought it was this direction. So I followed that. Enough of my training had sort of told me it's this direction. And so he came across a group of people who were panicking. We're going to die. We don't know which way to go. And he said, I think it's this direction. Follow me. Take hold of the person behind you and just don't let the person behind you go. Yeah. So they were following it out. They come across another group of people. We're going to die. This guy's like, no, I think I've learned enough that it's this direction. Just don't let go of the person behind you. And eventually it clears and he can see flags. And the flags mean they're on the map again, you know, and the snow's cleared and they know where they are and they're going to be safe. He comes down the mountain and he said he turned around. I find this so moving. He turned around and there was 100 people following him. And just because they didn't let go of the person behind them, you know, we only have to be one step ahead to turn around and help someone. Yeah, we don't have to be the person at the front. We just have to not let go of the person behind us. And I think we often think we have to be the leader or the most experienced or at the head of the queue. Actually, we've got enough, we know enough to help the person behind us. So yeah. Okay. Any questions that came in while I was telling that, Steve?
No, not particularly. I think just a lot of people saying it was quite powerful for them, and some saying it was really helpful to go through those EYP poses just before their class about to happen now. So yeah, I think people are just liking it.
Yeah, great. I had loads more I wanted to share, but the nature of time goes very quickly. Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, I'm thinking maybe, Erika, I'll come back to you for a top tip and just do a little wrap up so then people can have a break before the next session. So
yeah, great.
Yeah, so we'll come back to you for your top coaching tips. So all that extra stuff you want to share, put it in one sentence now. That's easy for you, I'm sure. So if anyone would like to, in the chat there, confirm any key takeaways, things they can take from this session, if you're a coach and actually want to be able to apply something, you can put that in. Or if you're someone who just went along and tried this out, what was something you learned about yourself? So feel free to put those in the chat. I'd also encourage, if you have any friends, either coaches who could benefit from this or people who would like to join in, do feel free to just share this with them. We're happy for you just to share the Zoom link and have people invited along. There's lots more coming up today. On that note, maybe I'll give you a quick little share of what's coming up. So straight after this session, we have how to be a better leader than Mark with Mark.
Oh my God, is that possible?
Here comes the coffee, folks.
Yeah, that's the coffee coming up. And then Intimacy Without Fear with Christina and what trauma-informed coaching looks like with Vidya, and then plenty more coming up after that. For any German speakers, actual coaching in German, because we know there's a lot of you, and a whole heap after that, and also some tomorrow. So that's what's coming up next. And then in terms of if anyone would like to, as you saw, like this stuff can happen super quickly. So while like change isn't always easy to do stuff, working with the body is the quickest and most effective way to facilitate that change. So if you would like to learn any of this stuff, one of the things that Erika used, and plenty of you have probably seen this already from a recent event, but this session sort of showed some 4 elements. It showed some centering and it showed some EYP, which it has 26 different non-athletic poses to instantly shift state. So if anyone would like to learn more about EYP or add that to their facilitation, or just do some everyday stuff with it as well. Mark's raising his hands.
Yeah, if you're just a regular person watching this, great, enjoy it, free stuff. If you're a coach and you're watching this and you're thinking, I want to be as awesome as Erika when I grow up, that's not possible. But what is possible is you learn the tools. Do not, coaches, fucking seriously, do not try and steal them from an hour-long session. That is low integrity and dangerous. Okay, instead, buy it. Have a look at it. Learn about all the trauma stuff, all the stuff. Erika trained with me for what, 4 years? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and spent how much money training with me? Maybe £10,000. Yeah, it's you spend a hell of a lot. If you think EFC, EYP, Jedi, all the stuff you learn costs thousands. So this is a bargain. But we recorded it because not everyone had, Erika was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, had a lot of money growing up.
Mark, that is not true.
But seriously, like she had to like sacrifice a huge amount to learn this stuff. And you guys don't. There's a cheap ass, super good product if you want it. It's right there. And that is how you do sales. So
on that, what Mark's saying is we've made it cheaper again, the special for EYP, if you would like to check that out. So for coaches, or if you work in groups or anything else, but the coach's product is there if you want to get that. Is what he's going into. And finally, that's about us for now. We'll encourage you to take a little short break before Mark's session starts. But Erika, I said, come back for your top tip. All your knowledge put into a single sentence. What's your top coaching tip?
I guess who are you not to share what you've got is the takeaway, I guess. I think the theme today will start with acceptance. That's the theme today. Start with acceptance. Allow that tension to dissipate, and then build from there. I feel like the coffee has definitely arrived. I said, Mark, I was like the moment before the caffeine kicks in, and now the caffeine is here. So I guess what you're going to see now is 2 very different styles of coaching, right?
No, I'm in Portugal, I'm chill, I'm gentle.
So it's just like 2 espressos.
Just 2 espressos.
Just 2 espressos. And just to say, God, there's loads I wanted to cover here and I just didn't get round to, but I'm doing an event on the 18th of July, which is for women around.
Can't advertise your own stuff here. What the hell? Oh my God.
It's for you. It's for you. It's an event for Mark. I'm doing an event again for Mark on the 18th of July, which is for women, around marketing and around it'll be longer, and I'll be teaching some of the stuff I didn't get to today. So you could join me there if you want more of some of this. Yeah, great. Enjoy the rest of the sessions, and you'll see coaches that are so different from me, all teaching different ways, the same principles, the same stuff. And I just really hope you enjoy it and take what you need. I look forward to seeing your work out in the world.
Thanks a ton, Erika. And everyone take a 2-minute break, relax your eyes, move, get a drink, water in, water out, all that sort of stuff. And thanks, Erika, and catch you later.